Grade 10. In this video we'll be doing factorize, and I'll be looking at a common factor. I'll be using English and Setswana to present this lesson. Let us start factorizing by a common factor. I'm going to show you some methods that you can use to factorize. So you are given the first one, which is 6x minus 10y. What you have to do is to find to break the numbers and the variables to break 6 such that it becomes 3 multiplied by 2. And then you write multiplied by x. 3 times 2 times x is 6x. Minus also 10, you can break it down to become 5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by y. That is how you break it down. And then you identify the same number that occurs in both terms. So the same number will be, I can see I have a 2, I also have a 2, and I don't have anything else. It's in this term and that term. So it means the same number here or the same variable will be your common factor. So your common factor will be will be 2. So you write 2 as your common factor, then you open a bracket, you close the bracket and keep your sign. So the remaining numbers or variables, you write them inside the bracket. So it will be 3x and there it will be 5y. Then you factorized. So that is how you take out a common factor. Let us look at the second one, which is 5xy minus 10x squared. Remember to break everything down. So you cannot break 5 because it's a prime number. You only break composite numbers. So I'll be having 5 times x times y minus 5 times 2 times x times x. Remember x squared, you have to be x times x. Then you identify the same number on both terms. So I'm having 5, I'm having 5, I'm having x, I'm having x. Then you take this 5x as your common factor. Then it will be 5x. Then you open a bracket, you close the bracket and keep your sign. Then what is remaining here? It is y. What is remaining there is 2x. Then you factorized. Let us try this one. C. 2pk minus k. When you break it down, it will be just like 2 multiplied by p multiplied by k, because it's 2pk minus k. Then what is your common factor? You check it. What is your common factor? I can only see k in both terms. Remember, we've got 2 terms. You can see by the separation of this minus sign. This is term number 1, this is term number 2. So you write k as a common factor, then you open a bracket, close the bracket, keep the sign. Then the remainders, you write them here, 2p. And then when there is nothing there, it means when there's nothing in your second term, that will join this bracket. Then you simply write 1. Because when you say k times 1, it will give you k. And then you factorized. Let us look at this one. 3a squared minus 9a plus 12ab. What is common? Remember, you break everything down. It will be 3 times a minus 3 times 3 times a plus 4 times 3 times a times b. Remember, 12 breaks to become 4 times 3, 9 breaks to become 3 times 3, and then 3 is only 3. It's a prime number. Then you check your common factor, your highest common factor. I have 3, I have a 3, I have a 3. I also have an A, an A, an A. I have an A here, I have a 3 here, I have 4B. I don't have anything that is the same. So it means 3A is my common factor. Then you write 3A. Then you open a bracket, you close the bracket, and keep your signs, minus and a plus. Then you write the remainders. It's only A here, it's 3, it's 4B. Then you are done. I want you to be careful of something, grade 10s and B. You must be careful of this. That when you have, let's say you have y minus x, note that this is the same as negative. You take out negative as a common factor. Negative, then you swap these two variables. It will become x minus y. Y, because of negative times x will give you this negative x, and then negative and negative y will give you positive y. So you always take out negative as a common factor. And also note that minus x plus y, still you take out negative as a common factor, which is negative. Then it will become what? X minus y. This one you do not switch them. And then let's say also you have negative x, negative y. When you have a negative, please make sure you take out that negative as a common factor. It will become negative. Then x, this one will change to become plus y, because of when you say negative times positive, it's negative. So be careful of this. Now let us look at example. You have 2a squared x minus y plus b y minus x. What is wrong there? What is wrong? I can see that, remember, we always want our expression to be in this form, x minus y, not y minus x. So mathematically, when you say alphabetically A, B, C, D, E, F, G, when you get to x, y, z, x comes before the y. That is why it is supposed to be in the form of x minus y. X must come first, then y after, not y minus x. In this case, you have to take out the negative as a common factor. So it will be 2a squared x minus y. Then you change this. When you take out negative as a common factor, that negative will influence this positive. It will influence this positive, then it will become negative b. Then you can write it in this manner now, x minus y. Then when you have something like this, you group them into one bracket. This with that, it will be in the same bracket, 2a squared minus b, and then that one, because of it's the same, then you write x minus y, just like that. So I hope you are good, grade 10s. That is how you take out a common factor. Let us move to grouping. The second type of factorize, grouping. In your grouping example, they can give you AC minus AD plus BC minus BD. When you have more than when you have polynomials, example 4 terms or 5 terms, 6 terms, that's when you are going to use grouping. In grouping, the first step, you group the first 2 terms together, and the last 2 terms together. Then you take out a common factor. Remember, we've just done common factor previously. You take out common factor in your first 2 terms together. What is common? I can see I have an A, so it means A is your common factor. Then what is remaining in the bracket is C minus D. Then also here, what is common is a B, then it's plus B. Then what is remaining? C minus D. These 2 brackets must be the same, guys. These 2 brackets, they must be the same for grouping, so that when you do your tata, your ta and te, I call it tata and te, you put this in one bracket, A plus B, and you're also going to put that, because it's the same, you're only going to write one thing, C minus D, then you factorized. Let us try this one. A squared plus A into 3 plus B plus 3B. So ladies and gentlemen, here, remember grouping, you must have more than 4 terms, more than 3 terms. It must be 4 terms, 5 terms, or 6 terms. Now you have 3 terms here. If you can just look carefully, you have the first term, this is the second term, the third term. So how are you going to make this to become 4 terms? I can see a plus sign here. I can distribute this A such that it becomes A squared plus 3A plus AB plus 3B. Now I've got 4 terms. According to grouping, I group the first 2 terms together. And the last 2 terms together. Then I check a common factor in my first 2 terms. The common factor is A. Then I will have A plus 3, because A times A is A squared, and then A times 3 is 3A. Then here, what is common? It's B. Then remember, this bracket must be the same as that one, so it's going to be A plus 3 also, because B times A is AB, and then B times 3 is 3B. Then I'm going to do my tata and tete. Remember, these 2 brackets are the same now. So I'm going to do my tata, ta in one bracket. So it's going to be A plus B. Then te in one bracket. Then it's going to be A plus 3. Then I've factorized. Let us try this one, where we have 6 terms. 2p x squared minus 3q x squared plus x squared minus 6p plus 9q minus 3. Now you have 6 terms. You don't have 4 terms. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to group the first 3 terms together because I can see I have something common, and then the last 3 terms together. So what is common in my first 3 terms? What is common? It's only x squared. I take it out, then I remain with 2p minus 3q plus 1, because x squared times 1 is x squared. Then here, remember, when your terms have a negative sign, you take negative as a common factor. Be very careful of that. So I'm going to take out negative 3 because 3 what's enamo, 3 what's enamo, and also 3 what's enamo. So 3 is my common factor. So it's negative 3. Then what will come here? It's going to be 2p, because negative 3 times 2p is negative 6p. Then what will come there is negative 3q, because negative 3 times negative 3q is positive 9q. Then it will be plus 1. Remember, I said these 2 brackets must be the same. Then I'm going to do my tata and tete. So this with that will be in one bracket, x squared minus 3, and then this with that in one bracket, 2p minus 3q plus 1. Then you are fully factorized. So that's it. Then let me just discuss the disguised factorization. Complex ones, but they are not that complex. I call them disguised. Dipitlile. So let's look at the first one. They can give you x plus y squared minus x plus y. This is common factor, but what you're going to do is that you have a binomial here. This is the same as, you treat this as one thing, a squared minus a. You take a as a common factor, then you have a minus 1. So yeah, what is common? It's x plus y. You take it out as a common factor, x plus y, open bracket. What comes here, it will also be x plus y, because x plus y times x plus y is x plus y squared. Because there's a 1 here, there's a 1 here, then you are multiplying this is the same base. You are multiplying the same bases, you only add the exponents. Minus 1, because x plus y times 1 is x plus y. So that's how you solve it. Then they can also give you let's say they did not give you a bracket, but you can see what's happening. You have 2x plus y, it means it must be in brackets. Then what is common? 2x plus y is your common factor. What will come here? It will be 2x plus y squared, because of 2x plus y times 2x plus y squared is 2x plus y cubed. then plus 1. Then you factorized. I hope you are good. Then the next type of factorize that we are going to discuss is known as difference of two squares. Remember, when you were simplifying algebraic expressions, they gave you a minus b, a plus b. Then you say a times a is a squared, a times b is plus ab, and then negative b times a is negative ab, and then negative b times negative b is negative b squared. Then the middle terms cancels out, then you remain with a squared minus b squared. So when you have something like this, the difference means subtraction. Difference between the two squares, meaning that when you have the squares or the perfect numbers, you can also see by perfect numbers, perfect squares. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and so on. The perfect numbers, perfect squares. So, example, you might have, let's say, x squared minus y squared. For difference of two squares, remember, you open two brackets. Then because of its x squared, you find the square root of x squared. The square root of x squared is x, and then the square root of y squared is y. But you write here, you also write in the other bracket xy. Then your signs must be different, plus, minus. That's very important. Let's try this one. 36 x squared minus 64. It's difference of two squares. How do you see? I see by this perfect square, 36 and 64, and also x squared, difference of two squares. So you're going to open two brackets also. Then you find the square root of 36 in your calculator. The square root of 36 in your calculator is 6. The square root of 64 in your calculator is 8. The square root of x squared is x. So be careful of that. So it's going to be 6x, and then that one will be only 8. You also write it that side, 6x, 8. Then you write plus and minus. Let's try this one. 1 over 81 minus p squared. Also is difference of two squares. I can see the 81 and the 1 and the p squared. These are perfect squares. Don't be afraid of the fraction, guys. Please. You open two brackets. It's going to be 1 over 9, 1 over 9, p plus and minus. It's easy, guys. You only get 2 marks or 1 mark for it. But now, what about this one? Guys, it's 4 minus x squared. You are not going to say, you open two brackets and then you write x, the square root of 4 is 2 plus minus. No, you are not going to say that. This is for x squared minus 4. Now you have 4 minus x squared. So for this one, for 4 minus x squared, you are going to write the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x squared is x. Then it's also 2 and x plus minus. Be careful of that. They can also say to you a b 4 minus a. Now they include common factor and difference of two squares in one expression. So first things first, you have to make sure you check a common factor first. Make sure. Ne? So what is common there? So I can see I have an a as my common factor. Then I will have b 4 minus 1. Check whether you are able to factorize this. Yes, you are able to factorize it because of its difference of two squares. Difference between two squares, I can see, as long as you can get the square root of that, guys, b4. How do you get the square root of b4? There's a 2 there. Ne? So it's going to be b. This exponent becomes your numerator of the fraction over that 2, the denominator. Then it will be b. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the square root of b4 will be b squared. Let's find the square root of b10. You just have the exponent. So it will be b5 because it's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So as long as you can have the exponent, then it's difference of two squares. And then the square root of 1 is 1. So it will be a b squared 1 1 plus minus. You can check if you are able to continue. As long as you are able to have, and as long as it's minus, difference between two squares, as long as it's minus and you are able to have the exponent, then you continue. Then it's going to also be a. This one you do not factorize it. Why? Because it's a plus. You don't, because it says difference. Plus is sum and minus is difference of two squares. So this one you just leave it as it is. Then you continue opening two brackets for that one. When you have this, the b squared, remember there's 2 there. When you have 2, it becomes 1. So that's why it's b1. Then the square root of 1 is 1 and 1 plus and minus. Then you are done. So I hope we are fine. Then the last example, it's E. Last example, F. Let's try 8 A8 minus 8 B8. Yeah, remember I said you always check a common factor first. Because of this, 8 is not a perfect square. You cannot open two brackets already. 8 is not a perfect square. So you're going to take it out as a common factor. 8. Then you remain with what? A8 minus B8. Then it's going to be, now as long as you can have the exponent, it's difference, and then there's minus also. It's difference of two squares. So it's going to be 8. You open two brackets now for difference of two squares. When you find this, the square root of A8, you have the exponent because there's a 2 there. 8 divided by 2, it will be A4. So it will be A4, B4, A4, B4. And guys, it's A exponent of 4, not A4. Ne? I'm doing a big mistake. Sorry. So it's going to be plus and minus. Remember me, I said you are not going to factorize this because of it has a plus. We only focus on difference, minus. As long as you can have the exponent also, the exponents. So it's going to be 8, A exponent of 4 plus B exponent of 4. Then you open two brackets for this. So when you have the 4, it will be A squared, B squared, A squared, B squared, plus and minus. Can you continue? Yes, you can, but you cannot factorize this and that. You will only factorize difference, the minus, that one. So it will be 8 A4 plus B4. You continue to write this, guys. A squared plus B squared. Then you open two brackets for the difference of two squares. You can have that. It will be AB plus and minus. Then you are done. Catch me on the next video where I'll be doing factorizing trinomials and also sum or difference of two cubes. Thank you.